Welcome, everybody. The NFL season is over, which means it's time to look forward to the NFL offseason, and that includes mock drafts. Today, we're going to be looking at a Baltimore Ravens 2023 NFL mock draft. The Baltimore Ravens are up with our 2023 mock draft series. We're going to go through each team before the 2023 NFL draft, so make sure you follow along with us as we go along. We're going to be using the NFL mock draft simulator. This is a good one because the players who are going into the NFL draft are in this. The ones who are going back to college are out for the most part. There will be some players who fall and maybe aren't the most realistic, but we'll try to keep it realistic with the mock as much as we can. We're also going to be rejecting all trades with this mock draft. Just want to keep all those picks that the teams currently have and try to use those rather than try to trade and maybe screw up what they could be looking at with the NFL draft, even though trades will most likely happen. So the Ravens last year made the playoffs, but they had injury issues at the quarterback position. Lamar Jackson missed some time. Now he's a potential free agent. The Ravens have some work to do in terms of bringing him back. We'll see if they can reach a deal, which a lot of it is based on guaranteed money. We're going to assume for this mock draft that Lamar Jackson's back. It's really rare that a team would not want to pay a guy who has won an MVP at the quarterback position in the past and I think is still a really good quarterback despite the injury issues. So we're going to assume he's back. That changes things. That means that they're going to want to bring him back. They have a really solid roster otherwise. Maybe get corners, wide receivers as we go along in this mock draft. But we're going to go get it started at pick number 22 for the Ravens as they try to get back to the playoffs again next season as they did this past season. Ended up losing to the Bengals in the first round of the playoffs. As I mentioned, there are players who will fall who are not realistic. Will Levis will likely not fall, so we're going to go ahead and move on from him already. But there are some options here that are very intriguing for the Ravens because Keely Ringo at corner could be really good because Marcus Peters is a free agent and you can just never have enough corners. And also the wide receiver position, Jalen Hyatt and Zay Flowers are two guys who have some speed. I think Jalen Hyatt ran a 4.41 and Zay Flowers ran a 4.42 at the combine. I think I'm going to go Zay Flowers with this one. I prefer him over Jalen Hyatt. I think he does more of, receiver skills rather than Jalen Hyatt's pretty much just fast. He's a limited route tree. He can stretch a defense, which could be good for this offense if Zay Flowers is off the board, if that's what they prefer. But Flowers can run after the catch. He's a better route runner. I think these could be the pick here. So I'm going to take Zay Flowers and help that offense because there's been some drama here. We've had the receivers saying that we haven't been put in the best situation to succeed. Now Todd Monken's the offensive coordinator. We'll see if that changes. We have Rashad Bateman, add in Zay Flowers, Devin Duvernay with some speed as well. This seems to be something that can help them, Duvernay and Flowers especially stretch the field. Rashad Bateman has a lot of potential to be a number one receiver. And then you can run the ball like the Ravens want to do, and that's why they might take a running back later. Is they run the ball a lot. They use multiple running backs. They do have Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, but they do have Justice Hill and Kenyon Drake hitting the free agent market. So the second pick is pick number 86. They do have limited picks in this draft. They only have 5. If they do make some moves, maybe they get some more picks in this draft. Maybe move down a couple times at different points. But let's go with DJ Turner out of Michigan. Had a very good 40 time. At the NFL Combine. I think he's a guy you can plug and play right away. It's good that they could bring back Marcus Peters. It's good that they have Marlon Humphrey. Getting more corners is never a bad thing though, so it is okay to take DJ Turner. All right, so Marvin Mims is still pretty exciting at pick 124 if you're a Ravens fan. Yes, you have some guys there, but you can never, I think, have too many receivers with how things have gone the last couple of years where it's kind of been a neglected position both from the offense coordinator perspective and from the GM perspective. But we're going to keep on looking down here. Mike Morris wouldn't be bad for that defensive line as they keep on, adding depth there. It's kind of a tough one here. Let's see what the best edge rusher left is according to them. Dylan Horton. That's a little bit of a reach. Not the worst thing in the world. Let's go with Mike Morris, the defensive lineman out of Michigan. He's the guy who did play on the edge a little bit for Michigan, so maybe he does move out to edge. But either way, getting pressure on the quarterback, whether he lines up in the 3-4, in the defensive line spot of the 3-4, or an outside linebacker, maybe a huge outside linebacker that's like 290. But either way, I think he fits this defense, can really help get more of a pass rush next year. I know a lot of the Ravens edge rushers were not healthy last year and ended up coming back. You might be able to get some more guys like Justin Houston this past year. They got to be a one-year type of deal guy who can kind of help rush the passer. All right, so we'll move on, and we will go with, I think we're going to go running back here, get some more of that depth. They used multiple running backs. Let's go with Kenny McIntosh, the running back out of Georgia. I think he would have liked to run a better 40 time at the combine. It maybe hurt his stock, but I think getting different types of running backs you can use with this offense is good. We'll see if Todd Monken maybe uses the same offense they did before that Greg Roman did. I mean, there's parts of it you probably want to keep because you have Lamar Jackson. Hopefully they throw the ball more, but at the very least you're getting a guy to be a third running back with J.K. Dobbins having injury issues, with Gus Edwards having injury issues. You at least have a third guy now if Justice Hill and Kenyon Drake both leave in the free agent period. Next one up, we'll go Brenton Cox Jr., the edge out of Florida. It's surprising that he's still there. There's some other options there, but let's go Brenton Cox. He's a guy who did get kicked out of Georgia and I guess was dismissed from the team at Florida as well, so there's some character concerns they'll have to dive into, but has a ton of talent. He was on Georgia when they had like the really good defense a couple years ago, transferred to Florida. His reasoning for why he didn't really pan out there was sometimes he took it too seriously or it was too physical. You'll have to look up his explanation on his Twitter that he posted or Instagram. But he can be a good value here if you can get the most out of him and keep him clean off the field, make sure he stays on the field. Let's go back through this. Zay Flowers at pick number 22. Jalen Hyatt's another option there. If any of the other wide receivers fall, that could be a spot there. But you really need to help this offense. Todd Monken, I think, is going to want to throw the ball a little bit more. So getting someone like Zay Flowers helps, who can stretch the field deep. He can run after the catch. Can run routes pretty well. I think he's a guy who can fit in pretty well in a lot of different offenses. DJ Turner, the corner out of Michigan, pretty good 40 time. I think he's a guy who maybe didn't play the best football over his career, but has some athletic traits that can be used. And if you do lose some of these guys like Marcus Peters in free agency, that's great. He can maybe step in and play, but if not, he can provide depth. Mike Morris, defensive lineman, 290, so maybe not the outside linebacker, edge rusher you were hoping for, but can play that defensive line spot, give you depth as some of the players on the defensive line are aging. Kenny McIntosh, running back out of Georgia. Again, the speed might be a little bit of an issue, but you just want to get running backs you can keep on throwing out there. If they are going to run the ball, even as little bit as much as they have the last couple of years, that would be something to have as a depth piece. And then Brenton Cox Jr., this is kind of like the take the flyer. He has talent, but kicked off of two teams. Is that going to be an issue? What was the issue there? Something they'll have to dig into more than I will have to, honestly, so we'll see what happens. But he does have some good athleticism and talent there. Pretty good draft for the Ravens. I do think that this is a draft they can be happy with. Again, this is all assuming Lamar Jackson comes back. This could totally flip on its head if Lamar Jackson is gone. We'll see what they do, but the Ravens have a pretty good roster overall already, so pretty good run for him here. I like this mock draft. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this one. We'll be doing mock drafts throughout the 2023 NFL draft season. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.